Hi everyone, welcome to Hundreds Charts by Tanya Armstrong and Maria Lala. Sit back and enjoy. The Hundreds Chart is an essential tool for every kindergarten to grade 2 classroom. It's a great math manipulative that aids children's learning about the sequence of numbers, counting patterns, and operational sense. As you will see in our film, the Hundreds Chart can help to introduce and reinforce multiple math concepts, together with supporting a variety of learning styles. Hundreds charts allow children to use different strategies to solve problems. They support inquiry-based learning as children can explain their learning, compare with other student strategies, and critique the strategies used. By incorporating this manipulative, children feel free to explore, share, see other strategies, and explain their methods, which helps encourage higher order thinking.
A hundreds chart can help students identify patterns in our number system and understand how numbers are related. Looking for patterns is an essential habit in mathematics. Now I'm going to introduce a fun activity for second graders that uses skip counting and patterning. For this activity, each student will have their own hundreds chart, crayons or pencil crayons. The teacher will demonstrate the activity on the larger class hundreds chart. Start by having each student choose a color and start skip counting by twos. So color in the numbers 2, 4, 6, 8, etc. Ask the students what they observe after they complete their coloring. Was it easier to color the rest of the numbers once they completed the first 2 rows? What patterns did they notice in the numbers? Next, repeat this activity, but this time counting by fives. What patterns did they notice? How does skip counting relate to multiplication? What connections can they make with everyday life? They may notice that grouping objects in groups of 5s and 10s makes them easier to count. Also, we use skip counting when we count money, like toonies and $5 bills. As an extension activity, challenge your students to find their own patterns in the hundreds chart using skip counting. They will be amazed at the patterns they create, and they will be learning their multiplication tables at the same time. When students see numbers from 1 to 100 in sequence, they will begin to internalize how numbers are ordered and understand that some numbers are greater than others. This is so important for the developing number sense. This patterning activity supports visual spatial learners as well as logical mathematical learners. The activity falls under the Grade 2 Specific Expectation B1.1. One of the key concepts children will learn during this activity is that there are patterns in the way numbers are formed. It also applies to Specific Expectation C1.4. Create and describe patterns to illustrate relationships among whole numbers up to 100.
Students can also use a hundreds chart to help them with operational sense. A hundreds chart is like a very long number line. Some students will benefit from seeing how numbers increase and decrease as they move left or right on the chart. Most students by grade 2 have mastered counting forward from 1, but may find it difficult to start counting from a different number or count backwards. When solving equations using a hundreds chart, students can use various strategies, such as making doubles, using compensation, using known facts, making tens, counting up from, counting up to, and counting down from. Students use movement and patterns on the charts to represent addition and subtraction questions, which helps to provide opportunities to identify subtraction as both a counting up procedure and a counting down procedure. Teaching double-digit addition and subtraction with a hundreds chart can help students that have difficulties with the standard addition or subtraction algorithms and concepts such as regrouping and borrowing. Before using the hundreds chart to solve equations, it is helpful to explain how the chart works. An anchor chart can be posted close to the hundreds chart on the wall so that students can refer back to it throughout the year. Students need to know that moving to the right is adding 1. Moving to the left is subtracting 1. Moving down 1 row is adding 10. And then moving up 1 row is subtracting 10. A fun game to incorporate learning language and math concepts is the number riddles game. Different riddles provide learners with various problem-solving strategies on the hundreds chart. According to Model, children should create their own procedures and ways of thinking. This activity encourages independent thinking as they can problem solve on the chart together with riddles and manipulatives according to their ways of thinking. This activity can be extended to include counters or other math manipulatives for differentiation considerations. For example, as you see here, we have two different hundreds charts. One goes up to just 100, and the other one can go up to 120. The riddles that you would use, for example, would be along the lines of, find the number that is 10 less than 95. They would just start from 95 and then count 10 up from there. The roll to 100 game helps to reinforce place value skills. Children roll the dice and then color in the numbers which they land on. They record the numbers landed on and then represent the number they rolled in also by some other form, either by writing out tens and ones. So for example, if they land on 28, they would do 2 tens and 8 ones, writing it in an expanded form, drawing base 10 blocks using 10 frames. It also can be played with partners. And then the first person that lands on 100 or reaches 100 wins. This activity helps understanding of place value structure of the base 10 number system by encouraging learners to represent, compare whole numbers, and recognizing representations for the same number.
We hope that you have learned some new ways to use a hundreds chart in your classroom, and we hope that you can see how the hundreds chart supports the process of mathematical inquiry by helping to engage your students with numbers. Students will see the hundreds chart as a tool they can use to explore how numbers make patterns. They will see that there are multiple ways of representing numbers and that numbers can be composed and decomposed. They can also use hundreds charts to experiment with alternative methods for problem solving. Remember to always make space and time for questions and curiosity, and allow your students to surprise you with what they know.